Hi, everyone. It's Sonia McDonald, and I'm the CEO and founder of LeadershipHQ, McDonald Inc., and Outstanding Leadership Awards. And we are super passionate about building a world of great leaders and leadership. And we are really passionate about our future leaders and emerging leaders. So much so that, you know what, we're seeing more and more of our future generations that are signing up, coming to our leadership awards, events, workshops, and programs. And I want to talk to you about today about Generation Z, because the war for talent is truly on. What unemployment rates are on all-time low, with so many different avenues now around, particularly Generation Z going out there and finding new ways to earn income and work. It's even more imperative for us, our generations of today and tomorrow, including myself, who is a Generation X, to really embrace and inspire and support and lead our future generations, like our Gen Ys and millennials, and in our Gen Zs, who I'm going to focus on today. Now, I wrote a blog around this, so click on the link below to get some great tips and techniques around how we can truly inspire and lead Generation Z. And it does start with us. So I wanted to share with you some tips around that today, because I would love you all to join the conversation. So have you got any comments, please join the conversation. I would love to talk to you about how we need to choose empathy over frustration when it comes to Gen Z. I hear so much so in our leadership programs and workshops. You know what? How do I lead our younger generations? How do I engage them? How do I support them? And I hear the frustrations around, they want flexibility, they want work-life balance. You know what? They're not they don't want to do the 14-hour days. And hey, look, I get it. I totally get it. I'm sure the generations before me used to get very frustrated with our generation as well. So, you know what? I actually have a beautiful daughter who's Gen Z. So, you know what? I hear you. I feel you around, and I do talk to a lot of her friends. I do talk and speak to a lot of those Gen Zs, and I think there is definitely a way that we can look at this differently and be better, be so much better at how we are engaging and leading Gen Z. So I've got some key tips around this, because I think it's really important. But before I do that, I'm just going to close the window because the sun's coming in. Hang on 2 seconds. And it's annoying me slightly, this light coming through. All right, so let me talk about the 11 tips that I think are really important when it comes to leading Gen Z. Check out the blog. We've got an award-winning blogs that we post a couple of times a week, and they're free. Make sure you jump on and subscribe, because they are amazing. Number one, I think it's really important that we acknowledge the unique perspective, right? This is what I think I love about Gen Z, and I've just hired a Gen Z to manage our social media, is that they come up with so many different ideas that I didn't even know that these sort of different kind of channels and techniques and platforms are out there, which Gen Z are all over. I think as well, the thing I love about Gen Z is that because of social media, they've got such a more kind of worldly view, right? There's so much more kind of attuned to what's going on in the world. And I love talking to them and finding out what is going on and what they're passionate about and what is happening around the world. Can I tell you, I didn't grow up with social media. I don't know how anyone could grow up with social media. I would find it really challenging to grow up with social media. So I don't know. This is why I think we need more empathy when it comes to Gen Z, because they are independent, they are resourceful, they are digitally savvy. Okay. So number one is acknowledge their unique perspective. Number two is be patient. I think it's really important that we be patient with them, and explain things that they understand, learning new tasks and concepts. Because if you think about it, they're Googling everything. I Google everything. I don't even know how I got by without Googling stuff, because obviously, you know, I didn't grow up with Google and Wi-Fi or the internet, right? The internet, which I cannot believe, right? You know, I Google everything, so I don't know how I got by prior to this. But think about how you can help them learn new concepts. I really think it's important breaking instructions into smaller chunks and providing like regular breaks. Again, have a look at the blog around this. There's some really great tips and concepts around this. So number 2 is be patient. Number 3 is encourage open learning, open communication. So because Gen Z are so used to communicating through social media and through text messages and things, they might not be as comfortable communicating face-to-face. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of communicating face-to-face. So I think that it's really important that we encourage open conversations and make sure that we're using lines of channel, not just text messages and emails and social media. We are ringing them, we are meeting them face-to-face to teach them about the importance of communicating face-to-face. I think is like super important. Number 4. I don't mind this one, right? Use short, concise messages. Okay, so Gen Z are used to communicating with short one-line messages. Even these emojis. Hey, we all use emojis. I get it. You know, and I get it. Like, I think sometimes it's really important to share a story or the context around certain things, but getting straight to the point and short, concise messages are things that they really love. I think that's a really great tip. Encourage collaboration. So they're really used to collaborating with others. So whether it's in person or online. So for them, it's really important that we provide opportunities where they work together on projects. This could be team building, like exercises, or also doing things where there's more than one person that you could work on. I think this is what I love about Gen Z. Like, for instance, we just had our leadership awards and I had a number of Gen Zs in the room volunteering as interns, these graduates. They were so brilliant. They were really great. And I think it was because we were all collaborating together. They were getting experience. I think they're really hungry for this. Like, if we really mentor them and encourage this collaboration, it could be really great for them. Keeping them engaged, even though another tip is like keeping them engaged can be a challenge, but it's also essential to try to avoid having them being disengaged with their work. So it's like, for instance, giving them regular feedback. Again, I think that's really important. Setting small goals, which is another really important thing, and offering rewards for a job well done, I think is also really important. Being flexible. I'm a huge one around flexibility. Gosh, I have always been really passionate about this space, even from years and years and years ago when I was working from home. I was a full-time single parent, moved back to Australia. I needed that flexibility because I needed to navigate the demands of work and having a small child to look after. So I'm more around results and outputs than I am around that whole 9 to 5, because I really get the importance of flexibility. And also I found when I was offered flexibility, I worked even harder and longer anyway. Not that that's something that I advocate, working longer, but obviously I advocate output and excellence and doing your best. Flexibility is something that I think they love, and that's something that I'm offering a lot. We're offering a lot to Gen Zs, and we're finding we're getting so much in return because of that. Being authentic as well. I just think this means being honest, transparent, and genuine, right? Saying it how it is, showing vulnerability, admitting mistakes. I think that's really important. Obviously, providing that positive feedback and positive and regular feedback is really, really important. I find they're really open to it because they have got a growth mindset and they want to learn. So I think it's around how are you doing that each day, each week, each month? How are you providing that regular feedback, not just at performance review time? I think it's really important that you're continuously offering that feedback. Setting achievable goals and providing support as well. Look, I think that they love goals. They love that support. And it's that coaching and mentoring. I think that's really valuable to them. So I think if you're really able to provide that that'll just go a long way around how we're leading Gen Z. And finally, get to the point quickly. You know how I mentioned before around concise messages? It's so true. Like, they do have a shorter attention span. Hey, I'm Gen Z. No, I'm Gen X, not Gen Z. And I have a short attention span. That's probably because I'm an entrepreneur and I've got 50 million things going on, and I'm always thinking of different ideas and butterflies. And oh, look at this idea. I'm always kind of, which again is something I need to work on. But the thing is, right, I think getting straight to the point, being authentic, is so important. Some don'ts of leading Gen Z are absolutely trying to control or micromanage their work. Personally, I don't think anyone loves that. Oh, some people do, but most don't. But Gen Z absolutely don't want that. They really dislike being any kind of leadership that's condescending or negative. Expecting them to conform to like traditional rules and guidelines as well, I think, is something you need to be cognizant of when you're leading them. Ignoring their input or feedback, writing them off or as being lazy or entitled. I keep hearing about this. Like, it's something that really frustrates me when I hear about that, oh, they're so entitled and they're so lazy. They're not all like that. Hang on, I'm just going to let my cat out. To be honest with you, I just find they're not all like that. So, look, I think it's really important that, we don't have this preconceived ideas around what Gen Z are like or about. Be open to getting to know them and some of these great tips, and showing the empathy, like putting yourself in those shoes, because we didn't grow up with social media, well, the internet or this Wi-Fi, whatever, everything that's going on. We weren't brought up, and for them and their beautiful evolving young brains to have this exposure and have the world view, and looking at the different challenges, and also obviously it's been a gift for them to have this more of a worldly view. Still, I mean, I just see that, I was very lucky when I grew up. I didn't, as I mentioned, like, I would go home, I didn't have a mobile phone. I didn't have access to the internet or social media at night. Went home, spent time with my family, rode up to the shops without a helmet, like, I didn't have the exposure or all the different challenges that they have grown up in a world where they've been exposed to social media. So maybe showing them a little bit of empathy and truly listening to them and providing them support and guidance, maybe looking at how they best learn or what motivates them or getting to know them, I think is really key. I think as well, don't be afraid to change, right? Like, be really open to their ideas. I know some of the Gen Zs have given me great ideas, and some of them I've taken on board. Some of them have gone, I'm unsure, but let's give it a go, right? And it actually worked out to be, thank goodness, I actually embraced the change and their ideas, because it's turned out to be a huge positive and win for us. But in terms of the 11 tips, right, definitely check out the blog. Number one is acknowledging their unique perspective. Number two is being patient. Number three is encouraging open communication. Number four is absolutely using short, concise messages. Number five is encouraging collaboration. Number six is keep them engaged. Number seven is be flexible. Number 8 is be authentic. Number 9 is providing positive feedback. Number 10 is set achievable goals and provide support. And number 11 is get to the point quickly. At the end of the day, some of my final thoughts are empathy is critical in leadership. I'm a huge advocate for kindness and empathy and compassion. I think that empathy is the new leadership style. If you can put yourself in their shoes, right, and see things from their perspective, you'll be absolutely more successful in your leadership role. Even from the point is, like, you don't know what it's like, or how even if you do put yourself in their shoes and you're like, hey, I don't even know what it's to be like in your shoes, but I really appreciate your perspective of being in your shoes, and help me understand what it's like. Or I think, because how could we know what it's like to be in their shoes? So I think it's really important that we open ourselves up to kind of understanding that they have got a different perspective and they have had a different view of the world than we have. So I think use the fact that they are super savvy and they have got a unique perspective, and that they are, that, you know, their kind of ideas and their kind of perspectives of the world can be really powerful and really critical for us today. So I hope that was really useful around how to overcome the challenges and frustrations that sometimes we had with Gen Z, with empathy, with listening, with compassion, with support, with mentoring, with guidance. I think hopefully that can give you a different perspective around how we go about do that. But at the end of the day, just stay kind and courageous. I know it takes courage to change and opens yourself up to new ideas and new perspectives. But you know what? Go for it. Don't be like Kodak. Don't sit there and go, hey, we don't need to change. Thing is, we do need to change. We always need to change, and we do need our future generations to help us today, and they also need our help as well. So make sure that you embrace Gen Z with empathy. Don't get frustrated with them. Just embrace their perspectives and do it with empathy and listening and leadership, and it'll go a long way. I hope you loved today's Leadership Lounge, and please make some comments before, because I'd love to know what you think about how we can lead Gen Z with empathy. And share with me what your thoughts are. And thank you for being part of the Leadership Lounge today. And please stay kind and stay courageous. Thank you.